Christianity Explained. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into answering a question uh, that, well, it was indirectly asked by a fellow I know on Twitter. I'll show you in just a sec. As you can see, there's a gentleman, uh, I think his name is Steve. He goes by the handle, The Objective Believer. He and is someone who likes to take a critical, not critical negative, but critical as in let's get objective, the objective facts as he believes and as he knows about the things that are going on uh, with social media, with things like that. Well, one of the people he's known for examining is Mike Winger. And the other day, I saw a tweet on my feed from this gentleman. And it kind of caught my attention. I'm thinking, okay, on one aspect, I would tend to not agree, but he brought up a point. And I'll read what he said and I'll explain. Uh, I'll read out aloud for you. Looking back on the Winger Hin debacle some time ago, if you forgot, Mike Winger did a very multi-hour video, 4 or 5 hours, I forget how long, uh, exposing Benny Hinn. And this guy, Objective Believer, was kind of on the critical side on his presentation and all that. In my opinion, uh, one of the biggest takeaway is the power of a personality. Hmm. Virtually, virtually all of his talking points had been all of Mike Winger's talking points that he made in that multi-hour tour exposing Benny Hinn had been said countless times for decades. Hmm. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Yet, it's yet it suddenly meant more now than that he, Mike Winger, was saying them. A sad commentary on our maturity level. Hmm. In a sense, I happen to agree with him on this, but probably not necessarily for the reason he thinks. He may think. And okay, that is weird. And of course, Rod Saunders points out, hey, let's not forget the same could be said of Sean Bowles' story. It was out there for for 7 years, but when Mike Winger did a video on it, it suddenly was, oh my God, this is new. And I happened to said looked at these guys and said, you know what, well, yeah. I said, guys, you have a point there. uh, hmm, okay. And it is true. Uh, and what might that point be? Here's my understanding of the situation. it is a sad state, a sorry state, when it comes to Christian maturity. When where we, if a certain person uh, in our camp says, "Ooh, we're more likely." Well, here's the thing: Mike Winger isn't exactly nobody. Let me bring up his YouTube channel. Okay. Okay, we're looking at Mike Winger's channel. First of all, let me show you something that's easily missed. All right, all right, then let me do this real quick. Okay, Mike Winger is not a noob. Okay, his video's been out. He's been cranking out videos for like 13 years. He is, yes, he's comes out of the Calvary Chapel stream of Pentecostalism. He's considered charismatic, and depending on who you talk to, like a friend of mine, he would say, "Oh, he's charismatic light. He's not as out there as some others." Okay, great, but he might start off with words of encouragement, but that's not the only thing he was known for. As you can see, he was also doing apologetic type work. As you, I don't know if you can see some of the stuff he's been doing for ooh, like 13 years and giving warnings about bad theologies and all that. Okay, let me do this. Uh, mm-hmm. As you can see, he's been doing this stuff for quite some time. And now he has pretty close to, hmm, yeah, do that. He has close to 1 million subscribers. Well, actually 989, almost 990,000 subscribers. And this was something he built over time. So was it really about personality? No. Not really. This is where I disagree with him, with his subjective belief. One, Mike has developed a history of trust where people can trust him to provide good, solid teaching that helps them to better understand what the scripture says in regard to a lot of issues. He developed that relationship with his viewers and trust over a long period of time. Mike didn't suddenly decide, wake up one morning and say, "Oh, I want to expose." He's been making exposure, so to speak, but not at the level he's doing now. So, and without that credibility that he developed, it would have been a lot harder. Now, let's get to the other reason. As both gentlemen have pointed out, others have said this. Yes, Fritz Rothbard have been saying this. I've seen how long, speaking out about Waterface and all these other stuff for quite some time. Justin Peters and others, Daniel Long and Stephen Kozar. Why? Why? Well, let's deal with the elephant in the room. You know, that stupid label, and I call it a stupid label, cessationist and continuationist. Yes, It's stupid because, first of all, we shouldn't even, as Christians who believe in a supernatural God who is able to do things way beyond anything we could think, if he so chose, he can do multiply whatever. He's God. We're not. So I think it's and it's really disingenuous to say, "Oh, he doesn't do that." Really? If God wants to heal somebody, He can supernaturally heal. He is God. Who are we to say otherwise? If He wants to work through a person, who am I to say, ugh? No. That's why I thought that. Now I do agree with some, with my brothers and sisters, like Chris Robo, where yeah, we do have to respect that we're talking about God, not man, and that we should respect Him. So He is sovereign and He is in control. We should have a healthy invite. I will agree on that. No problem. I don't get annoyed when they say, "Oh, guys like you don't care." Really? Uh, okay. So don't. Ah, hi Jason. What? It seems outright, outright dismisses. Mm. Hold on, let me put this up here. I think I'm getting to what you're saying. All right. It seems uh, outright dismisses somebody outright without giving them a chance, just because. Oh, Jason, I do hope you realize that you just right on cue, Jason. Right on cue. And you're right. And that's the problem. It's not right to point a finger of judgment. We'll say, well, because you don't believe like me, I'm going to dismiss. No, that's not right. That's pride. But the thing is, people are more willing to listen to someone. Oh, wait a minute. He's like, oh, he has similar view to me. I'm a little more willing. But it's not just that. It's also Mike's approach. I'm sorry, but when I need to get some information, and I'm listening to Mike, I can say, okay, oh, he's not giving the impression that he's going to be whittling. So we have to take some responsibility. And I'm going to raise my hand and acknowledge that uh, I'm pretty snark. I can be very sarcastic myself. Yes, I too can open my mouth and people will cringe if I decide to uh, do some of the same thing. And I shouldn't be surprised if people say, I'm not sure I want to listen to this guy. And yet I myself consider myself charismatic in the sense that I believe that the gift of for today. And I'm looking forward to the day where we can stop and just say, yeah, but let's be biblical in our approach and attitude and acknowledging uh, that. Ah, I could be I could be quiet, but I will at least say hello. Hi, Audrey. Oh, and that's the beauty of this. And I can understand some of the frustration, but guys, we need to learn to not be so quick to judge somebody. Because I think it is really hurtful and wrong to judge other people. Like, I'm not a fan of Justin Peters in that. I'm really not. I don't hate the guy. But guess what? I know he is trying to be helpful, in spite of what some of his, yeah. Mm. And as a result, I had to learn to say, okay, my opinion, you shut up for a while. Let me objectively, let's be a real objective believer, and not some cute handle, and actually listen to what the facts are and assess what's really going on. How does it line up with the Word of God? Is this correct? Okay, my experience is over here. This Lord, help me to align this with your word. Your word needs to be explained, and that is true. Now let's bring up another issue, which I picked up from Stephen Powell when he recently did an episode relating to how God is using people like Mike Winger to confront a lot of the the errors that are in the charismatic church. Yeah, and I would say Stephen has the right idea. God is using, but it's not Mike alone. He's also raising up other podcasters to speak up on the issue and to confront and expose these things that need to be exposed. And we should be praying for them. We should ask the Lord uh, to protect and guide and direct and give them wisdom about who they're connecting with and who they're allowing themselves to be platformed with, because the enemy wants to train wreck them. Uh, that is no doubt. I don't think anyone is going to disagree on that. And we should be praying. And we should also be wise enough to listen carefully to what's being said and wait. And I'm going to also report on this other fact that I don't know if you're aware of this, but yesterday my friend Anthony posted a video, 3.5 hours. I'm not in, yeah, a 3 hour tour video of some lady who's screaming. Let's put it this way: there are people who do not like what Mike Winger and others are doing, and the reason they're going after Mike is because they want to uh, produce a sense of fear. I want to say a spirit of fear, but I don't want some of y'all tripping over yourself and ignoring Second Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For we have not a spirit of fear or timidity, but one of power, love, and a sound mind. Yeah. And that's why, and why would, well, let's put it this way. If we see somebody who we really admire, we like, wow, and some bad, it can have an adverse effect. That's why we need to pray and and be wise about what we're doing and how to do. And, yes, intercessors are needed in all this. In this time of exposure, wisdom is needed in all this stuff. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. And I want to encourage that. Hmm. No, this whole thing of no, people have been speaking out on different issues for centuries. Actually, Martin Luther, uh, God raised Martin Luther up to confront what was going on in the Catholic Church, especially at that time, and he didn't do it by himself. You had the printing press, which was in, invented in the prior century, and people were ecstatic and they started wanting to get the Bible printed in their own language. And there was some kerfuffle uh, given in Germany. So, yes, the battle was won. And in order to raise up uh, Martin Luther, who went after, he really wanted reform. He wanted change. He wasn't looking, hmm, I seem to recall a group of foursome saying something along the line. Oh, we want to reform. We don't want to do that. Hmm. But see, and that's good. That was great that they did. That was a good heart to have. And that unfortunately didn't quite work out that way. And it's not the only time. We had television, radio came on in another century, and God raised up people to give voice to the gospel, and we do need to. But here's the thing. Remember the videos I showed you earlier with all that? Mike Winger didn't just do, okay, I'm going to go after the Jehovah's Witness. I'm just going to go after this. No, he also did other teachings as well to help people out. Hi, Gary. Yeah, I'm basically asking the question uh, that I asked at the beginning. Uh, why is it that we seem to get suddenly come alive when somebody like Mike Winger, and all of a sudden everybody wants to like, oh, it's new, but it's been said by others in the past. Well, part of it is yes, Mike does have uh, uh, a big audience. Yes, Gary, it's a shame you're at work. Otherwise, I'd be open to letting you come on board. And that's the important thing. But I would not be discouraged. Guys, but as I also pointed out, Mike didn't come out work out of a vacuum. He had to put some work, he had to learn how to research, and even how to improve some of his knowledge so he can do better over time. And that. I know I'm keep, I'm basically keeping an eye out. Yeah, that's what I thought. Are you hearing me okay? Oh boy. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Hmm. Yeah. All right. And that is important, folks. And yes, are there some alternatives? Sure. And unfortunately, and sometimes we have to learn that. At, hmm. Wait. No. I'm just thinking for a sec. I know of a fellow who posted a video with a very interesting thumbnail. Uh, that yes, Jesus was kind, but he wasn't playing nice all the time. No. Great. Instead, Jesus confronted people as needed. So did John the Baptist. Uh, there was no problem with confronting. But unfortunately, in our culture today, we're like afraid of offending. We're afraid of being, oh, so mean. Wah. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if John the Baptist was doing the stuff today, what he did back then, oh yeah. Rumba, caramba. People would be upset with him. And why? Well, he started off with saying, "You brood of vipers." Well, I thought it was just the Pharisee, the ruling religious class. No, he also confronted people who came, like the tax collectors and them. And Interestingly enough, they didn't act like, oh my gosh. Hey Ken, how are you? Hmm. Yeah. I'm doing basically a commentary stream here. But unfortunately, we have to remember that sometimes you have to be firm. Being kind does not mean uh, you can't be firm. You can be firm, but kind in your words. You can be gentle and firm and tell them, hey, I know you want to do that, but that's not a good idea. You do need to rethink some of the things you say. Oh, yeah. Hmm. If you have any doubt, read Galatians chapter 5, verse 20, right around verse 24, which is the fruit of the Spirit. Nice isn't one of the characteristics of the fruit. No, but love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, long suffering. And yeah, it would have been great. Here, let me pull it up real quick. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, the fruit of the Spirit, and I'm reading out the ESV, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self control. Those are the characteristics. For those who later, I'll use the New King James, and in the New King James, was it, it's again love, joy, peace, long suffering, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self control. Hmm. Are you guys seeing a pattern? Oh yeah. Would somebody like me to pull up the King James? I know that favorite of some of you. Hmm. Whoop. Okay. Um, for the King James, it is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, hmm, uh, meekness, temperance. Hmm. Huh. Okay, have fun. But I think you guys get the point. Notice that nice is not there on any of these translations. Yeah. So it's okay to be firm, and it's good. And yes, I'm not afraid to use sarcasm, but I have to use it sparingly and with care. depending on the audience and who I'm talking with and how I'm trying to use it. So notice I'm pointing at myself, not others. Why? Because in order for people to listen, it's easier when you point at you, at me, the speaker, than you. And how it is related to the topic? Easy. Ever notice how Mike Winger doesn't approach thing, and he is firm. He has no problem telling Trayon, saying, "Hey, I think you're lying." hmm. Those are literally, in case you missed it, I'm literally identifying the thing that's why people are willing to listen. And the other part is how uh, some of these guys, and by the way, Mike ain't the only one. The Wake Up and Win. Uh, Blaze and Christina do basically the same characteristic. They may not have Mike's background, but they do that. And so do somebody else. Even Ever is to probably a dental fit, but he knows how to go after things. You got others, even Rob Wilson. Don't let him fool you. He's after a dental soul, but he'll go after people if he needs. And that's good. You need that. Hmm. Because the kind of people that they have to confront are not being. In fact, they're actually upset. That's why somebody is supporter of these institutional uh, who want to protect what because uh, some of these guys who call themselves charismatic, they want to protect and disparage. That's not good. And what they're doing isn't right. It's better to say, okay, I may not agree with check. I'm going to give Wanda Aldo a little credit here. I have no problem doing it. She said in a on a Facebook page, I noticed he said, "Look, I may have some things I'm going to disagree with Mike on, all right, but I support what he's doing because he's actually getting me to think through some of the stuff." Hmm. You mean a willingness? Somebody's willing to listen, even though she might disagree. Hmm. Praise God. We need to be praying for that willingness of people to listen what's saying and give thought and think through. Hmm. And not get tripped up on offensive because that other person. Yeah. And maybe and get some thought to what is being said. I know Chris Robo is confronting some issue related to Mike Signorelli and that. And I and I would say, yeah, but just carefully listen. Ignore the snark because that's what you're worried about. I have to do the same thing when it comes to people who put their foot in their mouth with me. And they do. It's going to happen. I'm 61 years old, been dealing with this for decades. Issues related to disability for decades. In fact, I have done put my own foot in my mouth. So, but I had to learn grace. That the same thing has to be done here in the theology department. Hmm. And believe me, uh, the stuff I have to deal with is much harsher than somebody saying, "Well, I don't want to believe that you Pentecostals are wacky because you believe this thing." Believe me, the stuff I've met on other areas far worse than that. Yeah. Uh, hmm. and I'm not being dismissive, but we also have to learn to let go of the pride because we do need to humble ourselves. And we do need to say, uh, Lord, help me to see the truth. Jesus, help me to see what is being said. Is what so and so saying true? Is there validity in what's in? Now, in case you missed it, Gary Schumacher and his uh, two friends, Robin Hutchinson and Alabama, are really gentle souls. They're wonderful. They did a great job in dealing with some guy who was willing to show up. I was like, wow. And I thought it was great. Uh, yeah. Oh, I see one person. Okay. Hmm. All right, then the really. Hmm. No, I'm just thinking, did I cover everything? Mhm. I wasn't planning to do a 2 hour thing, video. I wanted to keep this short, relatively short, and encourage you not to be afraid to listen to what Mike is saying in his presentation and to consider praying for him and family protection and help. And the same thing with the other podcasters who God is raising up to confront these things and organize the. I think what did Everett and some of the others say? The charismatic industrial complex, organized religion, or whatever the heck you want to call it, doesn't like being challenged, doesn't like its ideas being confronted and that. Of course not. But sometimes you have to be willing to sit down mm, and consider, and also not get offended because, oh, wow, I what that confounded Justin Peters would think that maybe he's wrong. Wah! Okay, let God deal with his pride on that issue and whatever. You deal with yours. All right? Yes, I do think Justin is a little harsher than he should be. Yes, he does need to learn about nuances. Yes, he too can put his foot in his own mouth, just like me. But I also have to say, look at myself and say, uh, yeah, I could be just as thick-headed too. Hmm. And learn to exercise grace. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I covered a lot of stuff uh, here, and about as much as I'm able. And wow, wasn't planning a long stream, but hey, I trust this is a blessing and a help to you, and I pray that you will continue to pray for those in need, because it is challenging. And by the way, I'm going to repeat what I said and others said. These podcasters are not making money. That is a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Seriously, it really is. It's, you really don't make that kind of money doing Christian YouTube. No, trust me. I looked into this quite some time ago. You didn't. I didn't. I wasn't able to make money as a Christian blogger, and I wasn't. And this is not a ministry you go into thinking, "Oh, I'm going to make money." No, right? And I'm going to stop now and 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 thank you for stopping by and listening. Hope you have a blessed day. See ya when I see ya.